You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome back to the Distracted Dreamer podcast. I'm your host, Carlene, and I am so glad that you are here today. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I truly believe you found this for a reason. So I invite you, grab your coffee or your tea or whatever's in your hand right now, and just settle in, because today we are talking about something that I think is one of the most important conversations a woman in midlife can have. We are going to be talking about leading yourself. Not leading a company, not leading a movement, not performing some polished version of leadership for anyone else's approval. I'm talking about leading yourself in this season with intention. Because here's what I know to be true, is the most powerful thing a woman in midlife can do for herself and for the people that she loves, and honestly for the world, is to stop waiting for permission to take the lead in her own life. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. Now, I know you might be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, you just said the word leadership, and your brain immediately went, well, that's not me. I don't have a title. I don't manage a team. I'm not the CEO of anything. I am just trying to get through the week. And honestly, I get it, because that word, leadership, it has been hijacked. Corporate culture got hold of it, they polished it up, and they put it in a TED Talk, slapped it on a LinkedIn post, and suddenly leadership felt like something that was reserved for other people. You know, people with corner offices and keynote stages. But I want to challenge that right now, because I think you have been leading for years and nobody ever called it that. Think about that. You have been leading your family. You've been setting the tone and holding the peace. You've been keeping things together when things got hard. You have been leading in your relationships, showing up with grace, choosing the higher road, being the steady presence that the people in your life have counted on. You have been leading in your career, navigating, growing, influencing people around you, whether you had the title or not. You have been a leader for decades, my friend. You just weren't given credit for it. And maybe, if we're being really honest, you didn't give yourself credit for it either. So that's where we're starting today. Not with a new skill that you need to learn, but with the truth of who you already are, what you already are good at. And then we're going to talk about what it looks like to take all of that, all that experience, all that wisdom, and all that hard-won knowing, and finally turning it toward yourself. So let me paint you a picture. Let's talk about the three most common places that you are leading right now, and you might not even realize it. So you're leading your family, whether you have little kids at home, teenagers who roll their eyes at you at everything you say, or adult kids that you're still holding space for. You are leading. I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I was carrying it all. The emotional stability of the family, being the frontal lobe of the family, keeping all the logistics of life in order. Because leading your family, it looks like staying calm when everything is in chaos. It looks like actually being present instead of just physically in the room taking up space. And it looks like setting the tone. Because here's the thing that nobody warns you about. If you don't bring the peace, the loudest stressor in the room wins. And that's a powerful thing. So I want you to think about it. How you have been leading your family for so many years. You have more influence than you even know. Okay? Now, the second place that you lead is in your relationships. I mean, all of your relationships. And I want to be really clear about what I mean here, because this one is for every woman listening, whether you have a partner or not. I'm talking about your relationships, all of them. Your kids, little ones or grown ones, your friendships, your mother, your sister, the people you love who sometimes make you absolutely crazy. And here's the thing about leading in relationships. You don't get to give a speech. Nobody wants a speech. Nobody wants to hear you. What you have is something far more powerful than words. You have how you show up. You are the one who decides whether to take the high road or match someone else's low. You are the one who chooses calm in the middle of all the chaos and drama. You get to choose grace in the middle of all of the tension. You choose presence in the middle of all of the distractions. And you know what? When they go low, you know how to go high, not because you're performing, but because you've done enough inner work to know that you get to choose your response. And that is influence. That is the quiet, steady kind of leadership that changes the people around you without a single PowerPoint slide. And your daily actions, the patience that you extend, and the boundaries that you hold, and how about all the love that you keep showing up with, even when it's so hard? Those are building something. They're building trust and safety and a model of what it looks like to be a woman who knows who she is. How you show up is your leadership. Full stop. All right. The third place that you've been a leader is at work. And I want to go a little broader than just your job title here, because for a lot of women in this season of life, work is where the biggest shift is happening. And maybe you've spent 20 or 30 years in a career and you're starting to feel the pull towards something different. Maybe you're thinking about retiring. Yay, you. Or maybe you're thinking of leaving to build something of your own. Also, yay, you. Maybe you've had a dream sitting quietly in the background for years. Maybe it's been a business or a practice or some creative pursuit. And you're finally starting to ask, is it time? But then the doubt creeps in and you ask yourself, am I really capable of that? Do I have what it takes to lead something that's entirely mine? And I want you to hear this clearly. Yes, you do. And here's why. Everything you've done in your career, every team you've held together, every problem you've solved, every time you've navigated the hard conversations or figured out a way forward where there really wasn't a clear path, that was leadership. You have been building this skill set your entire working life. You just weren't always given credit for it. And like I said before, maybe this is another place that you didn't give yourself credit for it either. So whether you're staying where you are and stepping into your role with more intention, or maybe you're standing on the edge of something new and terrifying and wonderful, I want you to know you are not starting from zero. You are starting from decades of experience. You have hard-won wisdom, and you have a clarity about what matters that only comes from having lived enough to know. So midlife, it's not too late to pivot. It might just be the exact right time because you finally know enough about yourself to lead something that is truly, authentically yours. And that is not a small thing. That's everything. So family, relationships, work, 3 places you have been leading quietly and consistently, and maybe without ever calling it that. In 3 places where stepping in with more intention or stepping out towards something entirely new is absolutely within your reach. And that's what I want to give you today. So here's the thing that changed everything for me. Real leadership, the kind that actually works, the kind that lasts, and the kind that changes the people around you, it starts with leading yourself. That includes your mind, your energy, your intentions. I'm not talking about your calendar or your to-do list, and this isn't about your title. It's about leading you. And I know that might sound simple, but simple is not the same as easy. Leading yourself means deciding what kind of a woman you're going to be before you walk out the door, before you open your phone, before you answer the first question of the day. It means being intentional with yourself so that you can show up intentionally for everyone else. And for those of us in midlife, this is exactly where we have the advantage. We've lived enough to know what matters. We've let go of enough people-pleasing to be honest. We're done performing. We are exactly the women who can lead from this place. So you might be asking, so what does choosing myself and leading actually look like? Well, that is a great question, and I'm going to tell you what it looks like. It looks like finally saying yes to the dream that you've been putting off for 10 years, or the podcast, or the business, or that trip of a lifetime, or that class you want to take. Whatever it is that has been sitting in the back of your heart whispering, hey, what about me? It could look like protecting your sleep, or your mornings, or your mental health. And not because you're checking some wellness box, but because you finally understand that when you're depleted, you can't lead anyone well. Not your family, not your team, and certainly not yourself. And choosing yourself looks like taking back your time. Not all of it, because of course you still love the people in your life, and you're still showing up for them, but taking back enough of it to remember who you are outside of what you do for everyone else. And here's what I really want you to hear. You do not have to stop caring for others to start caring for yourself. That is a false choice. You can have both. You have always been both, whether you realize it or not. You've always been a woman who loves deeply, and you've always been a woman who dreams boldly. And those are not two different people. That is one person. That is you. And now I want to get really personal here for a minute, because I think self-care is one of the most misunderstood words in our vocabulary. And in midlife, it is also one of the most urgent ways that we need to lead ourselves. So let's face it, we are different than we were in our 20s and 30s. Like, I'm still me, but I am a very different version of me than I was in my 30s. And the self-care that works for this version of me looks nothing like what it used to. I mean, I still love a spa day. I still love a bubble bath. But this season of life, it brings with it the biggest biological shift most of us will ever go through, menopause. And it changes everything. It changes your brain, your bones, your heart, your skin, your motivation, your mindset, your priorities, your outlook, your relationships, all of it. Nothing is exempt. And for me, leading myself through this season and prioritizing self-care, it meant doing things I had never done before. It meant giving myself permission to seek medical support outside of standard Western medicine, to see a practitioner who isn't covered by insurance and know, truly know, that I am worth whatever that costs. And here's what pushed me there. I felt like garbage. I had no idea that radiation from breast cancer had done so much damage to my body. It messed up my hormones, all of them, including my thyroid. My immune system was fighting a virus that left other parts of me completely unprotected. I was depleted in ways I couldn't even name. And nobody told me how to fix it. No one handed me a roadmap. So I advocated for myself in ways I never had before. I asked questions I didn't know I was allowed to ask. I talked to other women who gave me resources I never knew existed. I figured it out one step at a time. And my motivation? I'm a grandma now, and I do not want to be an old grandma in a rocking chair. I want to chase those grandkids and play on the floor with them and actually be able to get up. I want to sleep well so I can focus the next day. I want to show up for my life fully. And that required me to show up for my health first. And this is what I learned. Asking for help is true leadership. And finding your people, the ones who have been where you are and found a way through, that is self-leadership in action. And I want you to hear this if you're in the middle of something similar right now. You can lead yourself through this season even if you don't have all the answers, even if it looks completely different than it did before, even if you're figuring it out as you go. That's not weakness. That is exactly what self-leadership looks like. Because the hard truth is, no one else is going to do this for you. Only you know how you feel. Only you know what you need. So lead yourself there. And lead with curiosity and with an open mind to options that you've never even heard of. And with a whole lot of self-compassion and gratitude that you get to be here to figure it all out. And here's the thing I didn't fully see until I was in the middle of it. When you do all of that, when you advocate for yourself, when you figure it out, when you refuse to just accept feeling depleted as your new normal, you're not doing it privately. The people you love most, they're watching every single step. And here's something I want you to sit with for a moment, because I think it changes everything. When you choose yourself in this season, when you go after the dream, when you protect your energy, when you become someone who leads her own life with intention, you are not just doing it for you. Your grown kids are watching you. Your grandkids are watching you. And what they're learning, whether you intend it or not, is what it looks like to be a woman in the second half of life. Are they watching someone shrink? Are they watching someone fade into the background? Are they watching someone put every dream on hold indefinitely? Or are they watching someone who said, actually, it's my turn now, and watch what I do with it? You see, when your kids see you start that business at 52, they learned that it's never too late. Or when they watch you take care of your health and your energy and your joy, they learn what a woman who respects herself actually looks like. When your grandchild sees you light up talking about something that you're creating, that spark becomes part of their story too. So you are not just leading yourself. You are showing the next generation what's possible. And that is a legacy that no title, no corner office, or no performance review could ever give you. So let's talk about what the season actually is, because I think we've been sold a lie about it. And we don't talk about this enough. Life after raising kids, after caregiving for years, after the decades of putting everyone else first, that life is not a conclusion. It's not the end. It is not the winding down. It is not the epilogue. It is a new chapter. It is a door opening to the rest of your life. And it might just be the most interesting chapter you have ever written, because you are not who you were in your 30s. You are wiser. You know yourself better. You have less patience for things that don't matter, and you have more clarity about the things that do. You have lived through enough to know that time is not infinite. And that is not a sad thing. That is a clarifying thing. So what are you going to do with that clarity? What dream have you been saving for someday? What version of yourself have you been waiting to become? My friend, Someday is now. And the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself, for the people you love, for the women coming behind you, is to lead yourself into it. Okay, so now that you know who you are a leader, and you know what the season is calling you toward, your dreams, let's get practical. Because self-leadership, it's not just a feeling, it's a practice. And I want to give you 3 daily moves that are going to help you claim your time, your energy, and your identity every single day. So I want you to think of these not as tasks to check off, but more as declarations. They're small daily acts that say, I matter, my life matters, and I am leading it on purpose. Okay, are you ready? Self-leadership move number 1 is to claim your morning. Own the first part of your day before the world gets to it. Because here's what I know. For years, most of us woke up and immediately handed ourselves over to the kids, to the calendar, to the notifications, to everyone else's needs. This is different. This is you saying, before I give my day to anyone else, I give 10 minutes to myself. This does not have to be a perfect ritual. This does not have to be a 90-minute wellness routine. I'm talking 10 intentional minutes. Ask yourself, who do I want to be today? What dream am I moving toward? What does the woman I'm becoming do this morning? That is self-leadership. That is you claiming your identity before the day tries to assign you one. All right, self-leadership move number 2 is to protect your energy at every transition. Okay, here's what I mean. This one is actually the move that I come back to again and again. Like, I do this all day long. And I think it might be the most underrated thing that you can do for yourself in this season. Every time that you shift from one role to the next, like from work to home, or from work to grandparenting, from caregiver to dreamer, just from someone else's needs to your own, take 3 breaths between those transitions. It resets your nervous system. And it allows you to release whatever you were just doing, whatever that was about, whatever energy was attached to it. And then it allows you to set your intention for what's next. And then you can step in with a calmed nervous system. It's amazing. I do this, like I said, all day long, every shift that I make. Because that tiny pause is where you stop being reactive and you start being intentional. It's where you guard your energy instead of leaking it. And it's where you remember that you are not just a function in other people's lives. You know what I mean? Like, you are a whole person moving through your own life. All it takes is 3 breaths, deep breaths in and out. That's it. That's you choosing yourself over and over, all day long. All right. The final self-leadership, move number 3, is to reclaim your evenings for reflection. Now, this is where your identity gets built consistently over time. So what you do is you take 10 minutes before the end of your day, not to scroll, not to catch up on email, not to do one more thing for someone else, but just to sit with yourself and ask, did I show up for my own life today? Where did I honor the woman that I'm becoming? So this is you staying in relationship with yourself. Because when we lead our own lives, we don't just go until we collapse. We check in. We recalibrate. We keep coming back to ourselves. And that's how the dream stays alive. And that's how you stay alive inside the dream. My friend, let me bring this all the way back to where we started. You have been leading for years. You've led your family, your relationships, your career. You've held it together through the hard seasons, and you've shown up for people who needed you more times than you can count. And now it's time to lead yourself. Not instead of the people you love, but alongside them. Because you can have both. You have always been both. You have been the woman who loves deeply and the woman who dreams boldly, whether you knew it or not. That is one whole person. And you are standing right at the beginning of what might be the most powerful chapter of your life. So here's your homework for this week, and I'm keeping this really simple. I'm inviting you to just pick one of those 3 daily power moves, just one, and practice it every single day this week. And while you're at it, ask yourself, what is one way I can lead myself towards something that is mine this week? Just one small intentional step toward that dream, the self-care, the life that's been waiting for you. And if you want to tell me about it, and I really, really hope you do, please use the Send Carlene a Text link in the show notes. I read every single one, and I am genuinely cheering you on. I love spending time with you here. And if today's episode sparked something for you, leave a review, share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Because you know what? Your dreams, they're still waiting for you. And yes, absolutely, your time, this is it. This is it now. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. You know, the stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.